All right, and a pleasant good morning to you coming from Tony'sPicks.com. This is Ramon Scott, and welcome to Night Moves here for Friday, October 24th, October 24th, and we're ready for Game 1 of the World Series tonight, a true World Series with the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers in Game 1, and really looking forward to kicking it off here and see if we can't make something of it, or make a little something off of it, at least here with the Dodgers. Pretty big favorite, obviously, to win the World Series, but hey, you got not only a country behind you in the Toronto Blue Jays, but maybe the rest of the world too. Could it be LA versus the world here over the next week and a half? I think so. Why not? I'm no Dodger fan, even though you might have to put your money on them. We'll hear from you guys in the chat. If you want, you can comment with me, say hello, and make your picks with me along here as we look at the action for Friday night, including college football, NBA. Man, NBA, we have all this retro and throwback stuff here in sports. What about NBA action is fantastic. And what a night in the NBA last night, with the Oklahoma City, the first team ever to play their first two games of the season that go to double overtime. Hey, OKC, they might be in trouble this year. All those wins last year, and they had to go to double overtime to win their first two games. SGA, 55 points. Okay, sure, he got 40 of them from the foul line. I'm half kidding, but SGA and OKC there, what a night and what a game. 141, 135. I think we got the money with the Indiana Pacers there last night here on the show. Didn't feel easy there at the end as Oklahoma put their foot down finally in the end to get the victory there last night, and just a really, really good game, no doubt about it. What we saw there, did see, a little bit of injury affected Indiana there, certainly, as you saw. Um, um, Oh gosh, who was it? You guys that ended up leaving the game there halfway through the game, and that felt like it was going to be an issue a little bit, but nonetheless, Oklahoma City with that win confidently there. It felt like, at least last night in that one. So, great game, great card last night. There with the first two, and let's not forget the other game as well goes to overtime, and the Warriors win it. Steph Curry hit that three-pointer with 21 seconds left, sent the game into overtime. He scored 42 points, 7 assists. The Warriors over the Nuggets, 137-131. Another overtime game, and another over, might I add. Now I feel like I want to go over in every game. What a square I am after seeing all these incredible scores in the NBA and NHL tonight. Did you have the salami over on Thursday night? Man, I hope you did. What about some of these scores? Hopefully you rode with me there last night. We righted the ship for an 8-4 record, picking every game here last night, including the Blackhawks on the road. They did it again. These Blackhawks are crazy good. All of a sudden, Celebrini looking sharp there for sure for the Blackhawks, and they end up looking real strong there. so far. A great performance there on Friday night and Thursday night, and a win over Tampa Bay on the road. Tampa Bay was a $3 favorite in that one. So I meant Connor Bedard, of course, and Chicago in there. I was thinking of San Jose because they won as well on the road against the Rangers. Another $3 dog that comes home with the Sharks last night. Can you believe these guys? These also rans in years past. Now, granted, the Rangers are struggling here right now just to get a victory, and they lose again at home. At least they scored 5 goals, but Celebrini and the Sharks, there got my script a little backwards. But nonetheless, a great win for those two young clubs on the road. Hey, we also had a winner with another surprise last night, or slight surprise anyway, with Anaheim on the road over Boston, getting it done. The Ducks get the win over the Bruins. Ducks are looking pretty good here to start the season, no doubt about it. Off to a pretty decent start here as they get that win over Boston. Granlund, 2 goals, 3 assists in that one, and they'll turn around there. Also, last night we had the Islanders, the winners over Detroit last night, brought home a winner there with that one. We had the under in the Kings and the Stars on the road. Corey Perry had that key goal as the Kings won it 3-2 in that one. We did have the under there as our pick. We also had Montreal. Took them on the puck line, and that was okay because Edmonton won it 6-5 in another wild one. These scores smashed the Grand Salami last night with plenty of goals, plenty of overs. We also had the Kraken on the road. They won 3-0 in a shutout. Also, Vancouver and Washington. Washington there with the win last night. We did give you the under here in that one in Vancouver and Nashville, pardon me, 2-1. Nashville got the win. We did give you the under here on the show yesterday. Part of the winning here on the mornings, on the Night Move show, you guys. Colorado and Carolina, or should I say Le Nordique. Wasn't that awesome to see those teams wearing those throwback uniforms of the Nordique and the Hartford Whalers in a 5-4 shootout victory last night for Carolina over Colorado? But they're going to do it again later this season if you missed it or catch the highlights, wearing the Hartford, wearing the lime green, if you will, and white with the blue trim. And of course, Colorado wearing the Quebec Nordique jersey, the blue with the red. It was spectacular. And we did give you the over in that wild game, 5-4 Carolina in the game of the year. And it lived up to the billing last night with a big performance there by both teams. 5-4, went to a shootout, ended with a missed one final opportunity for Colorado. I think it was kicked aside or just over the crossbar for the 5-4 win in that one. All right, I got to talk about my Chargers, the win last night. A confident blowout of Minnesota. They harassed Carson Wentz for sure, sent him to the turf. It looked like his arm was about to fall off. Meanwhile, for Justin Herbert, he looked like he had a bionic arm. And man, does he have a new weapon in Oronde Gadsden II? You might remember his dad was a tight end with the Miami Dolphins and a pretty good one. But I would say right now, knock on wood, no injury, that Oronde Gadsden Jr. is going to, or the second, I guess they call him, is going to be better than his dad, the way it looked. Ladd McConkey and Gadsden had big performances in that one. The Bolts had 5 sacks and 1 interception in the game. Vikings might have been upset about that early interception that was overturned. It obviously touched the turf, but they used to kind of let that one slide even on the replay, right? But we're not anymore. Even the slightest movement now with the ball hitting the ground, it looks like they've drawn a fine line there, because I've seen that a couple of times already this season. They used to say, if you kind of got your hands under it, it still was hitting the ground. And kind of looks like they've changed that a little bit. You know what else I don't miss about the NFL? The chain gang. I mean, they're out there just getting in the way pretty much now. You don't even notice it anymore. They just whistle down. And if you think it's now, granted, sometimes they even rarely bring that new technology on the screen anymore. I don't even think we see it once a week. They just tell them first down or not. Let's keep it going. You know what? I have no problem with that. I kind of like it. But we did have the Chargers here on the show last night to minus the points in the, I would say, easy victory. Chargers lost players left and right. But you know what? When Minnesota lost both their tackles, they were in trouble at that point. So even Herbert was under duress, but he threw for 227 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he ran for 62 yards there. It's a little bit of an unheralded weapon. He can definitely move. You just wince when he is moving. If you're a Chargers fan, don't want him to get killed out there. But Kimani Vidal, second strong game. I kind of faded him here on the site last night. I went 2-1 in my prop package, but Kimani Vidal, I thought 75 yards is pretty high, but you know what? When you only got one running back really doing anything out there, although we did see Jarrett Patterson, the former Buffalo Bill, getting the Buffalo Bull to my Buffalo guys out there, getting the carriers, so trying to help out. But Vidal was the man for the second time in 3 games, even though I kind of was down on him a little bit. But, man, he really had a nice performance. The Chargers actually held Minnesota to 164 yards, and they had 10 chunk plays there in the first half. Cam Dicker missed a field goal, but didn't matter because he made all the other ones again. And Carson Wentz is right now has a headache. All right, I'm going to say to you guys hello in the chat, see what's going on. Got a couple of friends here to say hi tonight on Night Moves. I'll be here, I think, alone here tonight. So Southpaw joining me there. And Timmy Chushu says the NBA players are going to have some unders on Friday night. Are they? I'm, you know what? I adjusted my numbers from that first week disaster. And you know what? I feel like maybe I've overcompensated. I mean, I don't look, so I just adjust what I think and what the numbers are kind of saying. And man, I feel like I want to go over now in all the games, but I know what you're saying, Timmy Two Shoes. We had some big news on it's Thursday, but I'm not going to belabor it here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. We're all about the betting. The reason why those things are happening is because we know what you're doing, right? We're going to make you show your ID, get registered, get signed up, and no under the table betting there. This is the way it's supposed to be. We're going to catch the guys who think that they're just too dumb to think that they won't get caught, basically. But we also got to tell the books, to forget about those big limits. You're just going to get burned like this. These are player props, and let people win. Let people show their knowledge and their betting dexterity, moving from player to player, and try to stay up on the news and just pay out the winners like you're supposed to, and don't limit anybody, and then take down those big plays, 10 dimes from people you don't know on your apps. So, all right. Let's see who else. Southpaw talking about that Habs game last night. And yeah, I mean, from a Canadians fan, pretty steamed about that. I did take him on the puck line here, obviously, maybe with that. And maybe Edmonton starting to get fired up here a little bit with that offense as well. So thank you, Timmy. Also here says Oilers will do that. They can come back. Southpaw loved the retro jerseys. Who else has some cool old jerseys or old franchises they could bring out? Could we do Atlanta Flame? Atlanta Flame, remember the Atlanta Flames? I mean, that one wasn't that great. And still, we got Calgary. What other teams do you think can be brought back a little bit for a little retro, if you will? And Ron Jeffs has been making money with that NBA, and we do it the right way here, right? But Billups in those poker games, I don't know if you ever saw that Matt Berkey, who's a professional poker player, has a real popular podcast, and he talked about it 2 years ago and referred to a game about the game that Billups game actually was taking place back in 2019, and they said to Berkey, hey, come on down. We got some live NBA players and maybe some celebrities and some other whales in there. And Berkey said, it's an up and up game. It's a legitimate game. And Berkey said, you know what? I've heard about that game, and I don't think it is on the up and up. And now, over 6.5 years later, or the quotes were from 2 years ago, even before any investigation was public, of course. But the incident from maybe 5.5, 6 years ago told the story there with Berkey saying, turning it down, saying, you know what? I heard that game was not legitimate. All right. Hurricanes. And all right, we'll get going here with the action. But first, I want to take you over to Tony'sPicks.com. This is why I'm here, to tell you about our website, Tony'sPicks.com, where you'll find our best bets every day over at Tony's Picks. I came through with a 2-1 on my prop package, and I won a tennis match here. I'm pretty hot right now in tennis, winning a few in a row. I'm watching some action here right now from Asia tonight, and some matches just concluded here moments ago, and more action later, and I'll probably be involved with the card here. And take a look at our best bets and our handicapper leaderboard, see who's hot. And let's see who is hot so far. New capper Javon Jones up there, big day, 5-1. Doubles with a 17-7 mark here over the last 7 days. There's Brian Bittler up 20.5 units over the last month, and Brian Palmer, nice job, Brian, up almost 11 units over the last 30 days. There's Higgs as well, 9.5 units, and doing a great job there. And there's our man DeAndre, also up there on the 30-day leaderboard. Also, there I am on the last 24 hours. I don't think we've got the props in yet, but I'll get those graded, and had my winner there last night with Riley Opelka, stretching my little winning streak here in tennis. You see there, I had Opelka, I had Ann Lee, and I had ADF over Brooksby, and Champions League game. I think we reviewed that yesterday, so a little bit of winning streak here for me over at Tony'sPicks.com. Use the promo code TonyT at checkout, and that'll save you 15% on all premium pick packages, including mine or from the other cappers, as well for those day-specific packages. A lot of times, put in 3 or 5 football games in there on a Sunday or a Saturday, and use that promo code TonyT at checkout on any of the cappers. Every time, do it. Save that 15% off. And we're getting ready, locked and loaded for a huge weekend of college football, NFL football, of course, the World Series tonight, and not to forget UFC 321 here this Saturday. UFC will be actually at 10 in the morning Eastern Time, 7 Pacific. You want to check that out with UFC 321. Aspinall versus Gane. Hey, did anybody see that video where Daniel Cormier pulled Aspinall aside after an interview and the mics were still on? I mean, it was I'm sure a little bit of publicized. I mean, it had to be released, right? It wasn't secret, but it was kind of portrayed as secret. And DC told Aspinall, he says, you got a chance to make a real historic run here right now, kind of like I did when I took on Ozdemir. And DC kind of said, I couldn't believe I was fighting Ozdemir for a chance, in a title fight. The luckiest man in the world, DC thought he was, and kind of told Aspinall the same thing about the heavyweight division right now, that he could make a big statement. Could have been set up a little bit, but might be true too. All right, so check me out. I'll have a package for sure for UFC 321, and get my picks over at Tony'sPicks.com. Check out all the cappers over there. Check out the handicapper leaderboards and see who's hot, and then get signed up with those premium picks from the crew. You see them here all ready to go with their plays. You got Sean in there with his play. You got Alessandro right now. Got his $19 bet in college football, and other cappers there as well, ready to go here on Friday night. All right, I'm going to hopefully give you a bunch of free winners here right now, but those are my best plays, and I'm going to cover the card here for Friday night's action and start with the World Series. Get ready. There's Mr. Weskers. Thank you for showing up. And Gordie Howe played for the Whalers, right? I mean, told you. And Mr. Weskers loved what Curry did there on Friday. Man, who was it that left the game, you guys? We know Halliburton was out there. Okay, let's just get going. Nemhard, of course. Nemhard left the game early. Remember, he was one of the hottest. How can I forget? He was one of the hottest prop prop players on the board there. It felt like yesterday because maybe some of those Indiana players getting their numbers pretty high, and Nemhard in his role too, don't forget, was kind of getting over, a lot of action from Sharps. Okay, let's go to the World Series, you guys, and get going here with the Dodgers taking on the Blue Jays. And probably don't need me to break it down too much here. I mean, we waited a week, but I know we all have to have an opinion here and where we're going. Look, I mean, I want I don't want to root against the Dodgers. I mean, probably need the Dodgers here to cover all my futures plays that I put down on them, and just kept adding to the Dodgers here late to cover all the other teams that aren't going to be the Dodgers in the end. So maybe a little bit of a lost cause, but just to get the money back, it might be a loser for me if the Dodgers don't do it here. But hey, you got them at $1.50 here. Look, this is a World Series. These are supposed to be the two best teams in the league. So technically, $1.50 might be a little too much if you just lined up two very good teams together for 7 games in a row. I know some of our commenters last night were saying, "Hey, you're never going to beat the Dodgers in a 7-game series on baseball." I don't know if it's like that. You might need to say technically like a 20-game series, the way baseball kind of ebbs and flows a little bit. I mean, even the Dodgers can have losing streaks in the season, but again, a lot has to do with the rhythm and the bullpens and who's in and who's out. Not everybody's in. Now you got the Dodgers here all pretty much healthy and ready to go. Blake Snell going. How about Trey Yesavage here? He is, speaking of the Dodgers, he is the youngest starter in a World Series game since 1947. And Ralph Branca, who they used to talk about even when I was young. Of course, I'm not that old, but because of his his pitching in the World Series, he's always been a little bit of a Dodgers legend. A little bit. We know they've had greater pitchers than that, but it's a name that Trey Yesavage will be the youngest starter since Ralph Branca in 1947 to get the start at 22, and Branca was 21 when he got his start there. So what do you guys want to pop in and make a pick here? I can cover it a little bit from my perspective of what I think. I mean, I still have to think that the Dodgers are the team for me in this game. Want the Blue Jays kind of to win. I'm not a Dodgers fan. In fact, I said it wouldn't be necessarily U.S. versus Canada. No, it's Dodgers versus the world. I mean, nobody around outside of LA, unless you're just a transplanted Dodger fan, feels like the Dodgers. Sorry, Tony, but there might be enough Dodgers fans here to want to take them here at a reasonable price. And the series price is more than the first game price. We know that. Dodgers here upwards of $1.85 right now in some of the markets here for to win the World Series here. But I mean, even the square books, I say that I think that was the circa number. I think the square books are closer to 225 or 230. How about the World Series MVP? Obviously with Shohei Ohtani, I don't know if look, you could bet on him. And if I were to bet on Shohei Ohtani, I would just take a physical ticket and put maybe a nice little sum that you can, put away and probably lose money on it eventually. Or will you gain money? Just make the World Series ticket and put it in a frame somewhere. And if he hits it, just keep that forever. It'll probably be worth more money than you'll get on the plus 175, 150, or whatever it is on Shohei Ohtani, if you want my investment advice about it. So baseball is such a strange game that in the World Series, it's not always the best player, right? Look who has won the World Series. Sometimes it's an unheralded player. So look, when you get a guy like Freddie Freeman at 12-1, who obviously did it last year, that's a pretty good price. And then again, you might have a guy like Blake Snell who could get in there multiple starts and throw great games here. There's a reason to consider the Toronto players with Vladdy 6-1, Springer 10-1. I know a lot of focus going to be on Vladdy and Shohei tomorrow, on the pregame. And Vladdy, the son of a former major leaguer, was a great player who really never got his just do playing in Montreal, of all places. It's just a great story, right? And Otani's tale has been told uh, and is yet to be told. I mean, not exactly the greatest player in MLB history just yet, but only because he has not won the World Series multiple times or gotten this award. Or anything, and it's all he has to do is do it a couple times. I mean, it's already going to be regarded one of the greatest, if not the greatest ever. And so this feels like the series where he might do it. Like I said, frame that ticket, don't cash it. Go get a physical ticket at the window, and it'll be worth way more money when you are ready to cash in your chips. Let's see. I see some comments from the chat, and we'll see what you guys like here. I guess I'm on the Dodgers at $1.50 here in this one. All right. And look, yes, look what Mr. Weskers is saying here. I mean, he's been terrific, hasn't he? To imagine that pitcher to pitch at so many different levels in 1 year, go all the way here, and then end up with more postseason innings than regular season innings. I'm not saying it's a great. It is great. It's awesome, but it also shows a vulnerability, right? You have a guy here who, you probably wasn't going to start him in the major leagues, or maybe they didn't see what they saw later on, or maybe this man has some special talents that has brought him to the forefront here, but it's just a kind of unprecedented. So you just don't have a young pitcher in the huge spotlight in this situation like this. I think that's advantage Dodgers, actually, as good as this kid has been. And again, it's an awesome story, no doubt. Maybe Timmy Chushu likes it in 5. Southpaw says, I'll take the Jays on the run line here. And Toronto team total over for Timmy. Southpaw says, Snell. I mean, look, even Snell, right? I mean, he wasn't really the type of pitcher that it seems like he's gotten his arm stronger than it's been in his last few years. He's not a young pitcher, and he's also kind of been a pitcher that didn't kind of go the distance, if you know what I mean. Nobody goes the distance anymore, but he was kind of a guy that you'd get out of there. Sometimes he wouldn't even get to his 5th inning. Talking about over the last few years. I'm not talking about this year. Like I said, it seems like these games, I mean, he's going, 6, 7 into the 8. That's how good he has been, Blake Snell. And look, he's been a perennial Cy Young contender or mention anyway, before he's tailed off, or even when he's had good seasons. He's been one of the better pitchers in Major League Baseball. So it's just such a tall order for Yesevich here in this game, but not going to slight his accomplishments at all, or nor the accomplishments of the Jays. Looks like a discount to me at $1.50. Aren't the Dodgers that good? Baseball is a game that it doesn't feel, it's not like football or basketball, right? It's got a little more variance sometimes. That's why the best teams, even 65% is an incredible season in baseball. We know that. Could still play these Otani props. I mean, look, it's gonna, whether or not the price is fair, right? Vladdy Guerrero Sr. Did he hit a home run off of a bounce? Is that confirmed? Did we see the video, right? Was it a little too grainy, that video of Vladdy Sr. hitting a home run on a bounce pitch? Or did he do that? Okay, Jays can hit those lefties. Rod says the Jays dominate those left-handers at home, says Mr. Weskers. That's an incredible statistic this season. No doubt. And Blake Snell, of course, Savage doesn't have any experience. Snell does have experience against this lineup, but does have pretty good numbers against a couple of these regulars. Now, Alejandro Kirk, 2 for 3 and a walk, but Ty France, 1 for 5, IKF. Some guys we're not seeing too much of, tier 2, 0 for 3 here. So, all right. Appreciate you guys very, very much. Was it a base hit, Southpaw? That's okay. I gotcha. So look, talking about the lefties and maybe an advantage against Snell. I mean, you can look right down the lineup at these guys that have the, from Springer to Vladdy to Alejandro Kirk to Ernie Clement to IKF. but we mentioned again some of those guys, not great numbers. Clement 1 for 5 in there as well. So, look, I'm not a Dodger fan, but I'm going to have to take him here. Might be just too easy to throw out a favorite there, but that's what I'm going to do here on the show. And big news today, too. Really disappointing or sad here. We don't know quite what the story is. We don't need to know. But key left-hander for the Dodgers, Vesia, Alex Vesia, Steel Canyon High down in San Diego. I saw this kid pitch in high school. He is sidelined, possibly for the entire World Series with a personal matter. It even went as far as to say on the press release, a deeply personal matter. So it does sound just terrible. It sounds family related there. So they're going to have to miss Vesia, who is a key left-hander. He can be inconsistent, but he was pretty good down the stretch, and he's had that experience too. So a little bit of a bummer here. His right now questionable here, and we know that Tanner Scott also had some personal issues here about a week ago. So Dodgers could be a little bit shorter, if you will, but again, they've also have the chance of putting some of these veterans in the bullpen too. Remember, Clayton Kershaw said, "Hey, I'm in the bullpen now. I got to focus. I can't do your interview during the game, guys. I got to focus on my job, being ready to go in the game." So one other one was with Bichette here, right? Still kind of waiting on the news. Feels like still questionable here. Doesn't feel like he's going to make the lineup here, but I'm going to hope he does. I'd really like to see, speaking of, right, sons and dads in the World Series with Bichette. All right. Appreciate it, guys. Enjoy the World Series. I love the fact that it's an international World Series, and Blue Jays, Dodgers, going to be great. And maybe it will go 7. I'm going to take the Dodgers. And like I said, I'm already on the Dodgers to win the World Series at a better price than minus 225. So it's not going to be – I'm not bragging about it. If you watch me on my shows, I've told about my futures bets at all times. And all it's going to do is get me even on all the other futures bets I had this season. And I don't have the Blue Jays. Don't know if we saw it coming. All right. Southpaw says, Bo Bichette says he will be ready. Hope he is. And then, like I said, still questionable here. Last injury report that I saw. So got to take it with take those injury reports seriously here in pro sports. All right. That's the World Series Game 1. Enjoy it. All right, we're going to be busy tonight here with a 12-game NBA card. Really get another dozen games here 2 nights later. 2-12. That's okay. You've got their big TV contracts and everything. We got to take these big cards and try to take advantage. And let's get to the action here with Milwaukee. The Bucks taking on the Raptors. The Bucks looked good in that opener, didn't they? Taking care of business there and getting a season opening victory for sure. That was quality there. And let me get the order here. Right now, the Raptors are favored by 1.5, total 232.5. Raptors did a good job as well in a blowout 20-point win in their opener. So 2 teams coming in with a win so far, and closely rated here with Milwaukee on the road. Now, Giannis was pretty strong, and the Bucks took care of business against the Wizards on the road. And like I said, they got the money as well. Raptors also with a strong win to open it. These 2 teams, Milwaukee's actually covered 4 of the last 5 meetings between these 2 teams, and 5 of the last 7 meetings between the 2 teams have gone over coming into this one. Now, look, I got on here and embarrassed myself 2 nights ago saying how much I liked the under, and I just didn't read into what the lines were telling me, maybe what the analysts were telling me, because they kind of said, but they thought it was a good idea to look over early on. I just was too stubborn, sticking to my old school techniques maybe a little bit, and paid the price, going 4-8, I think, on the totals here on that big 12 game card. Not going to hide from it. But here, I feel like now, have I over adjusted? And is it the first night that every team's going to come out and rock? Because I think we're going. I think I see a lot of overs here. I certainly was frustrated, maybe over adjusted a little bit to that, but that's what I end up feeling like in that moment. So I hope I'm not wrong here, but I feel like we might see more. Now that's got to be a common theme, but I'm usually an under guy. I don't want to be Mr. Over. That's, they always say, right? Dog and under. But on this one, man, I'm going to go with the over as my play at 232.5 with the Bucks and the Raptors here. Definitely feel strongly about this too. Now, I could be that I watch every game, and I've only watched 18 games, 14, 16 games so far, and maybe I'm just swayed by all the excitement and all the scores and all the baskets. Hey, I got two unders right out of the how many unders have there been? Four? What is? I gotta look at it here right now. If it's updated anyway. Oh, I don't know if it quite is yet. Darn it. All right. Let's got some comments from you in the chat if you want. Over everyone's healthy. Timmy said it. I think before I just came over the comments, but I think Timmy was saying it before I said it there, right? And Giannis's cousin going to start, his nephew, his uncle for the Bucks. They're going to have 5 Antetokounmpos out there. Now, we'll say this for Giannis here. This is probably the Toronto one of the toughest games, right? Because Scotty Barnes in there. This is you're Giannis. No game's tough, but Toronto kind of can, stop those type of players. Nobody's like Giannis, but I'm just talking about the, power forward guy, if you know what I mean. Toronto actually does an incredible job on those type of players. One of the best teams in the league at defending that position. But all right. Yeah, game time to right, Southpaw, but that's part of the trick, right? I mean, books have limits. We try to process the information, and we try to be one step ahead. We try to be better than the books. You try to read. That's why I try. Handicapping is a lot about reading game stories and beat writer stories. If you can stomach doing it or looking at them, I like to look at a lot of trends and everything too. You guys know that, but all right, I'm taking the over in this one. Next up, we've got the Hawks are taking on the Magic here in this one. And, the Hawks went down to defeat, of course, just mentioned it there, to the Raptors in that first game by 20 points there. And they're coming in here as a 4.5-point dog against Orlando. And Orlando got a good victory there over the Heat in game one, but they did not cover. The Heat got the money in that one. This one's been moving to the over already. Talk about some night moves, if you will. We've seen this one move higher here, it feels like already. This line was to as low as 228 in some openers here, and now we're all the way up to 232. Doesn't seem crazy, actually. But does seem like it's high. I still think it's going to be a high-scoring game from what I've seen so far. I don't want to go under. I don't think in this game. So Risa Shea did get ankle turn there, and Mo Wagner, he's out currently here. So Risa Shea key piece there, but still Orlando hanging on 4.5-point favorite here in this one, and that total at 232 here right now. Now Atlanta is just 3-8 against the spread in their last 11 games at Orlando. 6 of the last 8 meetings between these two teams have gone under. I'm going to go ahead and lay it here with Orlando in this game against Atlanta, and to make that my call here in this one. And if you guys want to comment in the chat, you're welcome to. Otherwise, I'll just keep on keeping on here on Night Moves with the action here for Friday. Next up, you got the Cavs taking on the Nets in this one, and big spread here, biggest spread of the night, 13 points. Cleveland 0-1. They lost to the Knicks in their opener. Spider Mitchell had a pretty good game in that one, and my man Evan Mobley looked pretty good as well. Brooklyn got routed by Charlotte, 136-117. So both teams coming in 0-1 and 0-1 against the spread here. A couple of teams that lost on opening night. Both games, of course, went over. So Cleveland on the road here. Look, maybe they're not all that. And the Nets, DeAndre tried to tell me, no, I was saying, watch out for these Nets as far as an improved team this season. But I had to be frustrated with the way they looked there. Certainly in that opener, did get some decent play from Claxton, I think, in that one, but man, they just appear to be overmatched, and I guess they might be here against the Cavs as well. Nets so far, I mean, I wouldn't mind some of these guys the way they play defense, but they got to show it first, like Cam Thomas and Michael Porter Jr. I mean, that's where they're supposed to be improved, in my opinion. So should be a pretty easy night here for Allen, I would think, against Claxton, and maybe he can meet his props here, and maybe Spider can as well. Still a pretty big number, but man, I don't know if Brooklyn's ready for all this right now. I will say Cleveland's dominated the series, won 9 of the last 10 meetings, and Brooklyn just hasn't really looked that great dating back to the end of last season, which was so dismal. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Cavs here and lay 13 points on the road against the Nets, and figure the Nets are not ready to figure this out right now with the Cavs coming in off of a loss. I'm going to go ahead and lay it. All right, back at the other game there. Oh, you guys, let's see here. I'm not supposed to go too far back because we're making those videos. So, all right, Mr. Weskers hasn't trusted the Cavs since the first round of last year's playoffs. All right, the Celtics and the Nets. Why not get these two together here? The Celtics coming off that 117-116 loss in their opener there to Philadelphia. Man, it felt like they had it, then they didn't have it, then they were covering, then they're not, then they're losing, and Philadelphia got the win with that new talent that Philly has. So as Celtics will be looking here, getting 5.5 points, because this Knicks team looked so far so good. The 119-111 victory to open the season there for the Knicks against Cleveland that we just mentioned, and they looked pretty strong in that game with OG and Brunson. But still, 5.5 points here. We know that the Celts are starting off shorthanded here in the injury department with Tatum out, of course, and also Garza. He left last game with a concussion, so he is out now. Karl Anthony Towns did make his way back to the injured list, but hey, he came through big time last game with that second-degree quad strain. So I don't know if he could play in that one. He probably could play in this one 2 nights later. Josh Hart is questionable. I think Mitch Robb is still kind of out. And OG also is on the injured list with an ankle turn, but he probably will play in this one. So Knicks by 5.5 here, though, and that total 229 here right now. Feels like feels like Boston might be taking a lot of action here in this one. I mean, they should have the defense to maybe limit the Knicks to be a little below their team total, but Man, Boston, that was a rough game against Philly, and the Knicks might be looking all the part right now. I got to go over in this one at 229 with the Celtics and the Knicks here on Friday night. New York has, or I'm sorry, Boston has failed to cover 5 of the last 7 games against the Knicks overall. So the Knicks have had the upper hand in this series of late. And let's see, Celtics for Southpaw. All right. And Mr. Wesker is going to lay it with the Knicks again. All right. I'll just take the over in this one. Next up, the Pistons are at the Rockets here with the Knicks. The Rockets favored in this one at 6. Maybe even 6.5 now. We're seeing a little bit of a move to the Rockets here. Both teams coming in 0-1, but the Rockets, they played that great game against the Thunder there, so they look good. Went to double overtime, but this isn't a bad matchup for them actually against Detroit here, who defensively, look, Detroit's supposed to be keep on the improve here a little bit, but feels like they really need to improve that defense. I think they will. I think, in fact, this might be the one game where maybe I am thinking about an under here with these two teams. Detroit did go under in that season opener, so in that 115 to 111 loss there in the season opener. So Pistons coming off an L, see if they can get it back here in game number 2, but on the road against the Rockets does seem like a tough ask. Did play well enough. I think they got the money in that game though against the Bulls, right? No, they did not. Pistons did not get the money in that game against Chicago. So Rockets 1-0 and 1-0 against the spread in the game there against the Thunder. Well, 0-1, and but 1-0 against the spread. They got the money. Remember, getting 8 points as a 4-point loss to OKC in that season opener. All right, let's see here. Pistons have covered 4 out of the last 5 meetings over the last few years between these two teams. So I think this one is an under, though, for me. I'm going to take my one shot here at the under with Detroit and Houston today. I got to have one under. Anyways, I did come up with a little bit of an under here in this one with Detroit and Houston. And Timmy says Bulls hammered Detroit in that one. Was it a hammering or was it just a solid cover? It was 115 to 111. So, but I get it. All right. All right. Next up, let's go to the Heat taking on the Grizzlies here in this one. And a little concern about the Heat here moving forward. But, they lost by only 4 in that game to Orlando, and they did get the money. Meanwhile, Memphis, 128-122, they did open up with a victory. So they've got to consider that maybe Memphis, I don't know if anybody's really – it just feels a little awkward right now for Memphis with their lineups, with their rotation. Everyone's kind of making fun of, why is Morant not in the right rotations? He scored 35 points in that first game. So Miami lost, I said, 125 to 121 against Orlando. Memphis 128-122 in the win over New Orleans. So, hey, no problem there getting the job done for the Grizzlies. They covered the spread in that one. So, Miami on the road in this series against Memphis. They've lost 8 of the last 11 meetings here in Memphis have gone to the Grizzlies. 6 of the last 7 meetings between the two teams have gone under here. So I have concerns about Miami a little bit on the road right now. It feels like the Sharps are kind of on them, but they'll need another big performance from Davion Mitchell. Man, he was great in that first game. with his 12 assists, really running the show there. That's just what Miami needs, is to have this guy step up and be that kind of player. Really is one of the best performances I think of I've seen out of Mitchell there in that season opener. Normie Powell here as well for Miami. So look, let's take a look at that injury report right now for Memphis. There's definitely some concerns here. They are up to a 3-point favorite, I will say that, but John Morant is on the injured list with a turned ankle, and we know that Tyler Hero is going to be out right now. And let's see here. Memphis has a boatload of the injuries here. Vince Williams Jr., he's out. KCP questionable. Ty Jerome is out indefinitely with a calf injury. We knew that to kind of get the season rolling. So there are some issues here for Memphis a little bit in this game. Like I said, they're up to a 3-point favorite here right now, and the total 232. So even though this has been an under series, I'm going to go over with Miami and Memphis here. Give me the over in this matchup. I would imagine if Morant's in there, it's going to be him scoring and hopefully Mitchell distributing the ball, getting it into Adebayo. Miami can win this game, I think, but I'm going to take the over with the Heat and the Grizzlies. Timmy Two Shoes took the Grizzlies. It says a strange number there. And Mr. Western still has questions about Miami here moving forward. Yeah, maybe a little bit of the depth. I just think Memphis might have, a few too many cluster injuries, I think, if you will. Spurs and Pelicans here. Spurs on the road, favored here by 3.5. The total 231.5. San Antonio coming in, of course, 1-0 with that blowout of Dallas. A total mismatch there with Wembanyama totally dominating. He really dominated Anthony Davis so much so they kind of had to make sure that he wasn't guarding him. He was making him look silly out there. And San Antonio, all of a sudden, their odds to win the NBA championship and win the Western Conference. Wembanyama's MVP. They all dropped after that performance because it looked so dominant against a Dallas, a rival team a little bit in Dallas. And, Dallas is still supposed to be pretty okay. They're the ones that got Davis and got what they wanted in the Luka trade, but that didn't look good at all. Spurs here looking strong. And Pelicans did get the cover in that loss. We did mention it there in that season opening game to Memphis. I think they were getting 6.5 or 7.5 was it? But whatever it was New Orleans that did get the money despite that loss so far. So San Antonio on the road here. Wembanyama dominating every possession down the floor in that last game, but still San Antonio just 3-10 against the spread against New Orleans in the last 13 games. I know it's a dramatic and rapid improvement for Wemby, or is it? I mean, he's always been kind of this good. 14 of the last 20 meetings between these two teams have gone under. Look, I love Wemby and New Orleans. If you go back to last season, I mean, they're kind of a disaster right now, but gosh, I kind of want to take them as a home dog and think that they're not this bad with this lineup that's going to go out there here on Friday night with Zion, with Poole. What's the status of Messi here? He is questionable with an ankle turn. Messi is questionable in this game. He's been going to be a key player for them, no doubt. Fox still out for the Spurs, but from there you got Olynyk out of this game. Sohan has definitely been out here right now. I'm going to take the Pelicans. Look, maybe the stock is going to get higher for the Spurs, but it's pretty high right now. And maybe the Pelicans are almost at a little bit of a buy point for me early on anyway, especially remember they ended so poorly there last season with the losses as well. So I'm going to actually take the Pelicans here plus 3.5 points against the Spurs on Friday night. Mr. Weskers doesn't see the Spurs going to the finals. Probably, you still got some great teams in the West. We just saw Denver. We just saw Golden State as well. So he's not really ready to consider that just yet. But, man, they do have some nice players. Okay. And Timmy going to consider the Pelicans, maybe just fade them off of one game performance there and got to turn around on the road. I think there could be a lot of that here in the first week. All right, the Wizards going to be a big underdog here against Dallas after Dallas did just get blown out, like we said, in that game against the Spurs. And you have Washington coming in here off their own blowout loss at home to Milwaukee. Middleton got great cheers, or actually was at Milwaukee. They lost there by 13, I think, as 10-point dogs in that one. Now they got to travel down here to Dallas for this one, but they are getting 10 points in this game. Pretty tough to want to recommend Washington, but might be the direction that I'd maybe look here. But I think for me, I'd probably end up going with another over in this one. After all, the Wizards game did go over. They gave up to 133 points in that game to Milwaukee. Yeah, Milwaukee was dominant, but Dallas will look to get back on track. They're obviously a favorite here, and they scored a league low 92 points in their opener. I don't think that's the way they're going to be this season. They allowed 125 in that opening game, and the game did go under. But Wizards did go over in that opener. And 8 of the last 9 meetings between these two teams, they only meet a couple times a year, but they have gone over in the past. Washington's actually covered 9 of the last 13 games against the Mavericks, usually as the underdog. But dating back to last year, Washington was still having trouble covering numbers at the end of the season, going 5-12 ATS. But Dallas as well was struggling against the number. I'm going to go over here in this one with Washington and Dallas here at 228. That's ticked up just a bit. Mavs team total over for Timmy Tushu in the chat. Thank you, Timmy. All right, a couple of teams will be hungry for a win here when the Utah Jazz are on the road taking on the Kings. I should say the Jazz are just hungry, period, after eating against the Clippers in the opener. Man, what an embarrassment to the Clippers, losing that one 129-108. We said the Clippers, we took Utah as one of the few wins I had on the show. In the opener, on the opening 12-game schedule, said the Clippers are a prime candidate to be that team, right? I mean, going on the road against a team like Utah, not very respectable right now, but that was impressive enough to at least wake up the Jazz a little bit, and they looked good in that game at least. Let me look at some of the numbers with these two here, the Jazz and the Kings in this matchup. The Jazz have actually failed to cover 6 of the last 7 meetings between the two teams coming in. They've actually lost 8 straight to the Kings overall. Kings have not been a good cover at home dating back to last season, but we'll see if this changes a little bit here right now. For the Jazz here, be looking to Markkanen in there. That was an interesting story about the potential trade of Markkanen that came out here in the last couple of days here. Filipowski got, of course, Keontae George had a pretty good game in the win over the Clippers with 16 points and 9 assists, running the show. But the Kings, they're going to be a little bit shorthanded here. But, man, with Utah coming off of a win, Kings coming off of a loss, I might be just willing to still kind of play the, overall, let's take the team that lost and go against them. But Sabonis questionable here, and man, the news didn't sound very good on Sabonis, so we'll see. He might miss the game, but Utah's still bottom of the barrel. I think that was just the Clippers. They're going to be pretty bad against the spread probably this season. Nate Clifford is out for Sacramento. For Utah, Isaiah Collier's out. Kyle Anderson is probable. I'm still going to take Sacramento here as my play on the show. I'd almost want to go with them as a premium, but the Sabonis status is definitely up in the air, and he might not make this game. And I would imagine if you wanted to wait, I can't wait. I'm on night moves right now, but I'd imagine if he was ruled out that this one will be down to 4.5 or even 4 or 3.5 if Sabonis is ruled out of this game. All right, Timmy Chushu is ready to light the beam here, so I'll take Sacramento as well. All right. And Southpaw says the Jazz pulled the rug from underneath the Clippers. I mean, this is what you're going to see from the Clippers, man. They'll probably step up in some games and then be total clunkers in others, I would imagine. They're going to be a head case. The Timberwolves are at the Lakers here in a very interesting matchup. We saw the Timberwolves with that great 118-114 victory with Ant Edwards. Great performance in the opener. Okay, he had 1 assist. It doesn't matter. You don't want Ant Edwards to get assists. You want Ant Edwards scoring points. So they knocked it out of the park there. 41 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist for Ant in that one. And for the Lakers, you wonder if Luka Doncic isn't already on the injury report right now, and he sure is. I mean, a groin injury there that in that opener, as much the usage that they needed, 43 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, incredible performance by Luka. But, could be Luka being Luka. I don't want to say that anything with his rejuvenated physical health, lost 30 pounds. I mean, it's a groin injury, so you'll weigh that on anything with had to do with his conditioning or anything like that. I don't think, but Lakers are the guys, the team with injuries here. Maxi Kleber is out, and Austin Reeves has a turned ankle, but he is probable. But I would think why wouldn't the Wolves come in here and handle the business? I don't think the Lakers are very good right now, and I'm not sure that there's hope for the Lakers here. They've got to try to make sure, right, they get off to a decent start early so that when LeBron comes back, that he'll be ready to go and the Lakers will be within distance of the playoffs or hanging in there. Almost, it's funny. Last year they actually got up there in the standings. They were actually kind of comfortable where they were, they didn't have to press like they did 2 years ago when they were really just fighting to get into the play-in and down there in the lower seeds of the postseason. So it's going to be a problem here early on, it feels like to me. They did lose to Golden State 119-109. It was a good game for sure. Lakers definitely were in there, and the Warriors felt like they put the pressure on and got it done when they needed to. But, man, the Wolves are completely healthy here, it feels like right now. And the way the Wolves perform, look, the Trailblazers, we'll get into them in just a second. Right now, next game here, it's a little bit of an issue. But I thought they played pretty well. I thought they were up a decent opponent. I think the Trailblazers have some pretty good personnel, and was no problem there that even though for the Timberwolves, they eventually did cover the spread in that game and won it. So I got to take the Timberwolves here for sure to beat the Lakers and cover. What are we thinking here? I don't want to underestimate the Lakers right now, but right now I'm marking them down. All right. Got maybe some comments here. And Timmy says here, I think he's saying think he's saying Timberwolves here a little bit. Yeah, they've covered 4 out of the last 5 meetings between the two teams, and 7 of the last 9 meetings between the two teams have gone under. Mr. Wesker says the Lakers lineup isn't very good. And Timmy says it's going to be a typical first half now for the Lakers. You wonder when LeBron makes, I don't want to be Mr. Cynic with LeBron. I respect him too much, but okay, I'm going to take Minnesota. Okay, get your jokes out, guys, here with the Warriors and the Trailblazers. But it's funny, when I was watching the games there on that card on Tuesday night or on Wednesday night, the 12-game card, the last image I saw on the league pad, with all the games going on was Billups hugging the teammates and celebrating the victory there in that, or celebrating or not celebrate, but content with the performance, the good performance of the Trailblazers in that first game. They definitely did a pretty good job against the Trailblazers. He was congratulating the team and the other members. I just remember seeing Billups. He was, by the way, released from custody earlier this evening, about 5 or 6 hours ago from when we're making this broadcast live. So he's probably not a flight risk, but he is not the coach currently, or he's been suspended from his duties by the league here at this point. Funny with the incident too. Remember, the NBA actually cleared. Well, I won't get into it. We're talking about Portland here, so I'm sure the FBI knows what they're doing. Even though Kash Patel is always late to every, it just takes them a long time to get it going. Okay, let me talk about Golden State and Portland here with Warriors coming in. Going to be a dog here, though, to Portland, so maybe a little tricky here, but Portland did take some steam here for sure. A couple books have this game still off the board a little bit, but Portland a 2-point favorite for the most part, total 227 here. It felt like the steam came in a little bit on Portland here in this one. For let's see here. All right. For the Warriors here in this one, coming in, like I said, they got that win 119-109 against the Lakers. Obviously, Butler was so strong in that game, man, with 31 points, and he just looks great with that unit out there for sure. And Curry made big buckets. Remember, he made the big three-pointer from his usual spot, just like he did last night. And that's something to consider, right? Because you have the Warriors having to play that overtime game last night at home. Not a far trip, certainly, to Portland, but you got to get on a plane. You just played overtime. It was a tough game. They eventually won it to get that win. 2-0, I should say, right? There with the win last night over Denver. So a little bit of extra work here for the Warriors right now, and that might make the Golden State Warriors a little bit tired even here at the third game of the season. So I got to take Portland in this one right now. I like Portland's lineup, certainly. I like this team here. No matter the fact that they had to go. Thiago Splitter, by the way, if you remember the Spurs player, Thiago Splitter. He's a pretty good player, wasn't he? And he's currently the coach of the Portland Trailblazers for now, until we figure out what's going on. But look, with Shaden Sharp, with Avija here, this team's pretty good. Holiday, Klingon, too. Klingon can have a great game here. He's got a great matchup. Look, I'm all about Draymond Green. Can play good defense at moments, but he is too old to play defense the whole time, and he actually is I believe he's a sieve out there most of the time right now defensively. It's just that I think you got a master like Kerr that has him in there at the right times when the substitutions matter, not like some of the coaches that don't play the chess game and they think they put out their lineup and you have to counter. I think that's the secret for kind of Kerr's success. So I think Klingon can actually have a huge game here, as much as you want to say Klingon can, but I think he could have a big game tonight. In the game against Draymond Green. I think Draymond Green probably get worked in that game, actually, but got to like the matchup for Butler for sure, for Pods as well, for Kuminga there. But I'm going to take Portland in this one. I think Sharp will have a standout performance tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and take the Trailblazers here. I think they're still a good upcoming team, and they'll pick up wins. And I think the Warriors are fine. I think they'll be a top contender. They don't need to win them all here. And Mr. Wesker says, Mr. Wesker says with a Big Al, with a Moody coming back here in this one, that Big Al can kind of go back to the bench a little bit. So we'll see. Moody's stat, he did miss Thursday's game, and he could be back in action here on Friday. Kerr did say he is hopeful that Moody can play on the second end of the back-to-back, and I think that was probably the plan there in that one. So we did see a pretty interesting lineup out there. And Mr. Wesker says, the Warriors just have a good organization from across the board. And Timmy says he wonders about the status of Curry actually in the game here on Friday night. But I don't know. I didn't note him on the injured list. So I understand he played a lot of minutes there. But Mr. Wesker's splitter was average. But Mr. Wesker's, what were we expecting from a player like Thiago Splitter? I think he did pretty well in his career. All right. And Mr. Wesker says it's a blowout here. Okay. And maybe under here for Timmy Tushu. I don't know. Okay, let's go with the last game here right now. And you got the Clippers, a 10-point favorite all of a sudden. They're just going to come in off that loss to Utah and figure, boy, we sucked, and we're going to turn around here against these Suns. Okay. Jalen Green's still going to be out for Phoenix. Miller out here for the Clippers. You got to be kidding me. Come on. I know the Suns are up against some challenges this year, and this lineup might not be what everybody's looking for here. And the Clippers, I'm still going to rate them pretty good defensively, but I'd rather take the Clippers in games where they're playing good teams and they might be an underdog or just a slight favorite. I don't think I want to lay 10 points with them at all here. Are they going to win 127-95 or something like that? Mr. Weskers is right. The Suns have glaring issues here at this point, especially in the middle. Zubats is going to have a big night, I'm pretty sure, here in this one. Be able to pour in the points. Kawhi will probably have a pretty strong game as well. Look, Harden against Booker, that might neutralize things a little bit. I think Harden can be neutralized here a little bit. So I just don't want to trust necessarily Phoenix to get it done here, or the Clippers to cover 10 points here against anybody at this point. They should have a pretty strong advantage in this game. And it's not an awful line. It's just that it's down to 9.5 here right now. And the total is, I should update it here. The total is down to 223.5. Now, okay. And maybe that, with the Clippers, you got to think about a little bit of defense here. But again, it went under there in that blowout loss it went over, right? 129-108 in that blowout loss to the Utah Jazz. And for Phoenix, meanwhile, like I said, getting that win, getting that cover in that season opener for Phoenix against the Sacramento Kings. So Booker looked strong in that one. Even Brooks was chipping in with some offense. So I got to take the points here with Phoenix, and I'm not trusting the Clippers. They're not a team that loses to Utah, and they're not terrible like that. But maybe I think which team has more underlying problems? That'd be my question for you. The Suns or the Clippers? All right, I guess that's a look at the NBA 12-game slate. Thank you guys in the chat for guiding me along. And I'm going to go next here to college football. We're all over the place here at the sports on Friday night. Reach over and get my list here of games for the action here on Friday. Let's get into it. All right, you got North Texas Big Green coming in here, taking on the Charlotte 49ers. Well, this one's not pretty. You got the North Texas team coming in here, 6-1, 6-1 here, and let me get my numbers ready here. 6-1 coming in, 5-2 against the spread, but they're nearly four touchdown favorites coming into this one against the Charlotte 49ers. This one opened as low as 23 at circa and has gone all the way up to 26.5 here. Mostly 26.5 right now. All right. Charlotte comes in with a ton of injuries here for sure, and they're near the bottom right now in yards per play, also near the bottom in yards per game margin, yards per play margin, and yards per game margin as well. Also, and they're just one of the worst teams in the country here. But man, North Texas has the number one scoring offense in the nation, averaging 45 points per game. But the spread's gone up too much. It's scary. I don't want to take Charlotte, but I might have to here in this one. So maybe I should just steer away from the side here and maybe just go to the total, because that's just what you can't argue these stats in this game. I mean, it is a one-way street, but you know what? Like I said, that circa number opened 23. It feels like it probably should be a little bit less than 4 touchdowns, I guess. But really tough to make a case here in this game in the American, with North Texas playing so good right now, and Charlotte averaging just 17 points per game as well. North Texas has a mess to maker here at quarterback, 17 touchdowns, 3 interceptions so far this season. 49ers, they practically have a more defensive standouts, I think, here than offensive here with the injuries right now. So Charlotte having big time problems here, and the Mean Green do have some outstanding numbers, 8-1 against the spread against subpar, or I guess weak conference opponents over the last 2 years here. But they do have Navy coming up in their next game. I don't know about a look ahead a little bit here. Man, I'm going to take the under. I'm scared. I'm trying to make a case for Charlotte, actually, but I just can't do it, given all the statistics that are kind of pointing against it here. They're not like they're going to be raucous at home to win this one or anything. North Texas is far superior to this Charlotte team coming in. These two teams are combined 9-5 to the over. Charlotte's allowing 35 points per game so far. I'm going to go under. All right. Timmy Two Shoes, Charlotte is terrible. It has to be North Texas. Timmy also says North Texas will have 28 by the first half. He's playing North Texas first half, maybe to get it done, and then they maybe let up the gas, says Timmy Two Shoe. Glad to have Mr. Weskers and Timmy Two Shoe in the chat with me. Hey, we got a nice crowd of you here. We got few dozen of you for sure watching here on Night Moves here on Friday morning with me, Ramon Scott, here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. Let's go to the ACC Friday night battle here next with Cal. Cal coming in 5-2 in this one, and 3-4 against the spread, up against a Virginia Tech team having a rough year. Just 2-5 right now, 1-6 against the spread coming in. They're still laying here. Is it really 6 points now? This one's gone up from 4.5 to 6. We've got Virginia Tech maybe getting a little coming back here a little bit. Now Cal does have some issues here. Several players are out of this game. Kind of feels like it's got some players on, Virginia Tech coming in pretty healthy. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make compared to Cal here coming in to this one. But Cal got lucky, let's face it. I don't want to say lucky. They were fortunate to win that game against Uncle Bill last Friday. Remember the late fumble at the goal line let Cal preserve and get the win there over North Carolina. Carolina got the money. The Hokies are off of a bye, but they've kind of got an interim situation going there. Doesn't feel like they're really playing for much here at this point and not looking very good. Cal here has something to play for too. I mean, right now you figure with a 5-2 record, looking to get bowl eligible. It's tough with Cal trying to play this ACC schedule across the country here, every road game, pretty much. But they have been, decent enough here. It feels like right now. I don't think the Sharps are going to want Cal. I still think the Sharps are going to prefer to go with Virginia Tech here. I just don't know if I can do it. It's Virginia Tech, right, that is favored in the game after all. All right, you guys want to comment on this one? Go ahead. Between Cal and Virginia Tech, but Hokies still the favorite here. To go from all the way across the country. Cal has ACC wins here over Boston College as well, and the Hokies really weak here, 6-14 against the spread, coming in off of a straight up and spread loss. So look, if Cal wins this game, they have a chance to be alive here for the conference title. They'd have 3 wins so far if they do it. And Sagapolatelli, I think, has looked good here at quarterback right now. I think he really is one of the best freshman quarterbacks in the nation here at this point. So, look, right now the luster is off at Virginia Tech, and it feels like they're looking for answers here right now. So it's not the same. It's still Virginia Tech. It's at night. I think that's going to be a theme a little bit, maybe with the talking heads. You know what it can be like in Blacksburg a little bit, but I'm going to lay the points here. I got to take Cal in this one. I'm going to try the Bears on the road here against V-Tech, plus those points. All right. Mr. Wesker says Cal's the public team. And Timmy Tusher says I might be talking him into Cal. Yeah, I mean, look, it's Virginia Tech at night. That's, I think, kind of what people want to ride with here. It just feels like Cal's played pretty well here right now. They have also covered those numbers, like I said, at they're actually 3-4 ATS, but Virginia Tech's 1-6 ATS. They've been favored one too many times, is what it feels like. All right, we got one more. Oh, well, nice to have Warren Swagga in the chat. Thank you, Warren. Oh, man, that really makes me feel good here. Nice to meet you. I've been around these parts here for a few years. I'm a old school capper. Maybe I'm an old school capper, Warren. A little old school, trying to be up here with the new. I'm a little bit of brick, a little bit of a brick and mortar, and a little bit of AI. I don't know. Don't do any AI handicapping. I will say this though, you can do some AI but you're in control. You put in the information that you kind of right for the AI. It's all about the prompts, right? If you just tell it to pick the game, you're not going to be happy. Tell it what you think, and then tell it to figure out the game. Okay, one more here on Friday night with Boise State taking on Nevada. Here you got Boise coming in 5-2. You got Nevada 1-6. Boise's been great against the number as well at 6-1, but Nevada has 3 spread covers so far this season. Boise averaging 37 points per game coming in, and quietly they have 6 straight covers right now against the spread since that loss. Maybe people think too much about that opening game loss to South Florida, and then you go into the weekly test where not all the games are on TV. But man, they beat up on the Rebels last week in that game where outscored them 28-7 in the second half. So look, Nevada is just 1-6 on the season, but they really have played the games quite close. Boise is awesome, but they're probably a little bit too high of a number here. I would imagine this one probably could see some scoring here. I don't know about maybe a premium here, but I'm going to go ahead and take the over in this one with Boise and Nevada. I think Boise can put up a big number. Actually, I think they'll probably end up giving up some points here actually to Nevada, and it just ends up being kind of a blowout win here a little bit. So we'll see. They're in revenge here against Boise, and right now Nevada is not very good at home with revenge. 7-1 ATS coming in. So right now, San Diego State breathing down the necks of that Boise State team. I'd like to see Boise lose here, but I know they won't. I know they won't lose this one. So, all right. And hey, you know what? Maybe Boise here play a little bit inspired for the former Boise State great, the Muscle Hamster. Remember, he was a Boise State player after he passed away last week. And it was unfortunate circumstances, but all right. Boise has Fresno next week as well, so that is a look ahead. Here, San Diego State plays Fresno this week for the oil can. And that's a couple of tough games. So we're seeing them get down to business here right now in conference play in the Mountain West. And it's, Boise and San Diego State looking like it. But Boise with a real strong running back themselves right now in Dylan Riley. He had 201 yards on 15 carries in that game last week. And all right, or in that game against UNLV. All right, I'm going to take the over there in that one, but I think I might be thinking about the dog a little bit. Boise's awesome. Nevada looks bad. They've played the games close. Boise's much better than those opponents, but there's some familiarity too a little bit. We'll see. Could Jay Norvell, fired this week at Colorado State, maybe return to Nevada where he kind of had his career set off? Maybe. All right. Hey, I just likes the favorites, Timmy, right? Well, that's because, right, when you just say, go to, give me the pick, I think AI looks at the favorite and says that's a team that's expected to win. Timmy says maybe Nevada can have some pride there. All right. Hey, we're not done here on the morning steam. We've got on night moves. You know that's going to happen, right? Gosh, you guys. Let's get it going here with night moves and go to the NHL tonight. We got 4 games. We won't touch on them too long here. You've been with me over about, we've been here 90 minutes so far. Is that right? So we better kick it into gear here and wrap up the show. Got Washington here. Got the Capitals on the road here taking on the Blue Jackets on Friday night. 4-game card here to look at on the ice. And boy, did You think the NBA games are going through the roof? How about the hockey games? Man, we saw some big time scores, even with a few games in there. We had Kraken 3-0 over the Jets, Predators 2-1 over the Canucks, Senators 2-1 over the Grand Salami. Still went way over on the day. It was set at 73, but when you got 6-5 Sharks over the Rangers. The Ducks scored 7 goals in a 7-5 win. Utah 7 goals on the road, and then 20 goals in the last 2 games there with Montreal and Edmonton, Carolina and Colorado living up to expectations. Plenty of goals too in hockey right now, but you have Washington and Columbus here to open it up on Friday night, and got the Caps here coming in 5-2 right now, looking pretty good at this point. Meanwhile, the Jackets come in 3-3. They are 1-5 to the under here so far this season. Logan Thompson for Washington, 4-1 record, 1.6 goals against. Logan Thompson picking up right where he left off. Meanwhile, for Elvis, 2-1 record, 2.68 goals against, and a 92% save percentage. I know I just talked about a lot of goals, but I'm going to probably end up liking the goaltending here in this game with Washington and Columbus. These two teams have kind of gone over. Columbus is just 1-6 in their last 7 games at home against Washington. Washington's actually won 12 of the last 16 meetings between these two teams coming in. We know Washington's heating up here right now after that slow start. Washington's hot all of a sudden here. And I'm going to go ahead and take an under, though, to start it off. Don't be kicking yourself, Ramon, but I'm going to go under here at 6 goals. Let's take a look at the line. Yep, probably $1.15, total 6 here in this one, and I'm going to go under with the Caps and the Blue Jackets. Fade that winning streak, maybe, though, says Jimmy Choo and maybe Columbus, right? I just a little worried about the series. This is one where you can look at series history a little bit when you got 2 conference teams meeting up here, and Caps are right back at it here. We kind of thought the Caps over these last couple of years were a little bit of fluke, but it doesn't feel like it. Next up, got the Sharks coming in here, taking on the Devils. Well, the Red Hot Sharks. I mean, come on. Give me the 250 or better, and I got to be on them. No, they did play last night, but it was a big win over the Rangers. You could say the Rangers, I almost said, suck. So far, at home they do. But the Sharks come in here still here getting that first win of the season against the Rangers. It's a great job by the Sharks here. No matter if the Rangers were struggling or not, they got the win on the road with Celebrini there, that win in overtime. And, well, for the Devils here right now, hey, what can you say? They are no Rangers. They are much better than the Rangers. 6-1 here right now, 5-2 on the puck line, averaging 4 goals a game. Meanwhile, the Sharks are allowing 4.8 goals per game so far. So I think this one just ends up going over. I'm going to take the over as my pick. A little bit of fun there with the Sharks, just getting that first win. Good for them. They, there's obviously something a little bit broken with the Rangers. I don't know if they'll be that terrible, but maybe the Devils here right now at 6-1, looking a little bit sharper than that right now. So we'll see. Sharks on a road trip here, having to play back-to-back right now, off of a huge win, their first win of the season. They've, going back to last year, I think they've lost 17 of their last 19 games and 9 of their last 11 on the road. New Jersey's obviously won 6 in a row here right now. We'll say this, interestingly, for whatever reason, and the Sharks haven't been very good over the last 5 years or more, right? Even longer. But and New Jersey certainly been steady. San Jose's won 9 of the last 12 meetings between the two teams in New Jersey. the Sharks 9-3 against the Devils for whatever reason. So maybe the Devils, maybe they always overlook them or something, and here come the Sharks. I mean, they're professional. If you wanted to say, let me find an uncelebrated angle, maybe that is it. Because the Sharks are not great and the Devils are riding high, but you might have an overlooked situation, especially with the Sharks on a back-to-back. But Timothy says, give him the Devils. I see it, Timothy, over here. Great. I don't know what is 6EB. What does that mean? Timmy Chusha says, lay it. And I'm a little prop here. Hughes assist. And just pick anybody to score because they're going to have a lot of goals. Oh, yeah, maybe. But I'll just throw that little caution to the wind out there for whatever reason. Look, 9 of 12. That still means the Devils did win 3 of the games. But, all right, I want to get back to the tennis here. I want to finish this Muchaba leading Bencic here early. Okay, let's move on here. Timmy Chusha says, how about Andres Palat for a goal there? Okay, next up, we've got the Leafs taking on the Sabres. And the Leafs are a road favorite here, about $1.15. Closely rated game for sure here. And a total 6 over at -115. Maybe the Leafs have even snuck up here to $1.20. And I'm going to update the total here also to represent, I think, 6 over. I think every book is 6 over here right now with the Leafs. Coming in here on the road, 3-1 so far this season, just 2-5 on the puck line. Meanwhile, the Sabres are 3-4. They have 3 wins, despite averaging just 2.79 goals per game so far this season. For Buffalo here, probably expecting Colton Ellis again in here. Just 1 start so far, but it was a good one. He allowed 2 goals. Stolarz maybe expected here for Toronto in this one. 2-3-1, 3.0 goals against. Buffalo's looked all right here so far, it feels like right now. And when you look at the head-to-head in this series between the two, Toronto, they've won 5 straight meetings between these clubs. 12 of the last 15 meetings between these two teams have gone over when playing in Buffalo. So I'm going to go over here in this one with Toronto and Buffalo. I kind of want to look to get on Buffalo. I mean, but Toronto does own the series, like I said, a little bit. Still, the teams are, so far both just 3 wins. So I'm going to go over in this one. The steam has come in on the under here, which may be a little bit of value, but I'm still showing, like I said, 6 over 15 or so right now. And even some of the square books starting to move even higher here on the Maple Leafs. I'm showing $1.28 at a popular offshore book here currently. All right, and I got one more here, late night with the Flames taking on. Where's the line? Where's the line, Ramon? 160 here for the Jets. Get the graphics man on it here. There we go. All right, got Flames coming in here. Tale of 2 teams right now, if you will. One way and one the other. Calgary 1-6-1 coming in right now, average just 1.6 goals per game so far this season. The Jets are 5-1, looking strong here right now. Great run here for Winnipeg to start the season. 4-2 on the puck line as well coming in. They're averaging 3.8 goals per game, and only minus $1.60. Well, maybe there's a little bit of series history to consider between the two that you can look at. Calgary's lost 4 out of the last 5 to Winnipeg overall. And, well, with this losing string here right now for Calgary, you got to wonder if they can get it together here after that opening win of the season right now. It just hasn't been too good so far here. So, I don't know, Winnipeg at $1.60 here. Maybe worth a look here even on the puck line in this one, I think, and a little bit of plus money. I expect the Flames can get it together sometime right now, but when? 5 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams have gone over, but Calgary just ain't scoring any goals. Let's see what we got here. Jets in regulation, and Calgary's due for a win. Yeah, I don't want to play the due game, I'm afraid. I'm going to take Winnipeg here, minus a goal and a half on the puck line on Friday night, and try to score late with a little bit of plus money here with Winnipeg. Calgary needs to turn around desperately. This is hockey, so maybe it'll be tonight. But man, you get $1 plus $1.50 or better here on that puck line. I think it's even higher. It might be $1.65. I'm going to take Winnipeg here on the puck line to keep it rolling here right now and take advantage of a struggling Calgary Flames club. Right. You think I'm done? I'm not done. I've got 2 games in the CFL here tonight. I'm just going to cover them here real quick and get the plays out there, and we'll let you go here. Thank you for spending all this time with me here, nearly 2 hours on Night Moves. All right. I've got 2 games here. Oh, Timmy Tushu says, how about in regulation? You little even money. Thank you, Timmy. All right, you got the Red Blacks coming in here, taking on the Tiger Cats. You got the Tiger Cats favored by 14 points here over Ottawa, and the total here 52.5 coming into this one. You know, Hamilton's not exactly looking swift on defense here, I don't think. I think that, Ottawa, 4-13 this year. I get that, but I think I want to take 2 touchdowns with Ottawa in this game. The way that Hamilton, Bo Levi Mitchell really settling in here. Lawler's looked real strong for sure. Had a good game last time with the 8 receptions, 113 yards, and a touchdown. They've got some of the best running, although Bell did have probably his worst game since probably his worst game of the season in that last game. Bell 9 carries there, so I kind of want to take these 2 touchdowns here with Ottawa. Look, I think with Eugene Lewis had a good game last time. I think with Addison can do something here as well, and Khalil Pimpleton has looked strong. I'm going to take the Red Blacks plus 14 points in this one. Give me 2 touchdowns on the road against Hamilton here on Friday night. Timmy's down with that as well. And my final game is the Stamps on the road here, taking on the Elks in this one. And man, the Elks, I think they can win this game. Look, Calgary comes in 10-7. The Elks are 7-10 here. But look, this has always been kind of an Elks series, right? In fact, they've covered, let's see here. It's closer than I give it credit. Edmonton has covered 5 straight games at home right now, so I gotta like that. I also gotta like the matchup here for Fajardo, and Rankin has been terrific there. He didn't look good as well against BC in that loss last week, but Rankin has really been a good back here. The running game should be pretty good for Edmonton, and they'll be able to shut down, I would think, Dedrick Mills, who's had those 2 outstanding games in a row. But I'm going to take Edmonton here plus 5 points at home against the Stamps here on Friday night. I think that's going to do it here for Night Moves for a Friday. Enjoy the World Series, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow to talk college football late night. And also Timmy says the Stamps, right, they're all set. So okay, that's going to do it here for the show. Really appreciate it. Hey, there's some Friday fixtures to look at in soccer. So we got more than just the major sports up here at Tony'sPicks.com. You can go to Tony'sPicks.com and use the promo code TonyT at checkout. Save 15% off premium pick packages over with our crew. There you see our website, Tony'sPicks.com. We got our premium picks. Check out the handicapper leaderboards and see who's hot, and then get signed up. We'll have some picks tomorrow in major sports. I'm going to have some prop action as well. But also, you can look at Major League Soccer playoffs tomorrow. Also, Friday fixtures in major European leagues, West Ham and Leeds. AC Milan's in action in Serie A. Sevilla, an underdog at Sociedad in La Liga. And there's Bundesliga as well with Berlin taking on Werder, and League One action with Nantes and Paris FC. So, all right, should be a great Friday. Catch me back here tomorrow, gang, at 9 a.m. at 2:30 a.m. Eastern, 11:30 Pacific time here on Night Moves. I'll get all the times right here eventually. Like I said, use the promo code TonyT at checkout, save 15% off all premium pick packages over at Tony'sPicks.com. Go to the upcoming tab and you can see which action is up next from our team of handicappers. You're looking for a game, go to the upcoming tab and they're right there with the latest games as game time approaches. You can get the picks, all the picks from our crew. Look at all those picks loaded up, including the World Series tomorrow and all the picks through the weekend from our great team of handicappers here at Tony's Picks. All right, it's going to do it for Tony'sPicks.com. I'm Ramon Scott. So long for Night Moves. Catch you tomorrow.